Hey, we're working on this 82 Mustang, the 302.50 motor, doing a water pump. Water pump's right there. Only thing I've done so far is take the belt off, put a little pry bar in the slot of the tensioner, pull back, and that'll release the tension on the belt. I think the first thing we're going to start off with is getting this here clutch fan off. So we're going to remove these bolts right here. Alright, we got our clutch fan loose right there. Use two 11mm wrenches, one to hold down one bolt while I loosen the next and went around it. The last bolt I held onto the pulley tight and it cracked free. Sometimes you gotta use a little screwdriver in between two finger loose bolts to hold it still to crack free the last one. So we got this bracket that sits in the way of the water pump, so we're gonna take that off. Goes down to the power steering pump, up to the AC here. So we're gonna get that out of the way. And we're gonna do a thermostat too. So, yeah, let's get to it. We got our bracket off there. We had to use quite a few different sockets. We had a 13mm here, 11/16 there. What else did we have to use? 5/8, 9/16. They're all different sizes. Here's all our hardware. And we have the one long bolt there, goes through the power steering. So we got that bracket off. We can see all our water pump bolts now. Next thing I'm gonna do, I guess I'll take these two heater hoses off and the lower radiator hose coming off. All right, got my hoses off. They were on there pretty good. Had to fight them. Spin them around with some pliers, get them loose, pry them out of there. And that guy gave me the most trouble, that top one. Got all my bolts loose. Two of them didn't want to come out of there. They're kind of like rusted in there. I'll work them free once I get the pump out. They're loosened from the motor. They're just kind of stuck in that sheath of the water pump. I forgot to mention on this guy, it takes a little bit of prying to get that guy off. It doesn't just fall off. All right, so now we should be able to snag this guy right out of here. Rusty. Rusty. Oh my God, so nasty. So nasty. All right, so this guy comes with a gasket. It's just kind of falling off there. Oh, big old chunk of something. I ain't sure what that is. But anyways, we're gonna clean all this up. Let's get to it. We got our water pump all cleaned out. Now, I can't imagine life without this tool right here. Go out and buy yourself a $10, $15 gasket remover. You can buy these little discs at the parts store. Gasket remover discs. Beautiful. Water pump bolts. I put all the old bolts in the water pump so we don't lose track of which ones go where. And I wire wheeled each one of them on my bench grinder there. Now it's time for the thermostat. While we got this water pump off, you got this pesky little bolt that sits behind the timing cover. So hopefully you have a 1/2 inch or 13mm ratcheting wrench to get it off. I already got the other one off right here, extender, 13 1/2 inch. So I'm just working that one free and then we'll have the thermostat off. Thermostat housing's all cleaned up. Cleaned up where the big hose fits on. It was nasty, corrosion. Cleaned up our house, or where it mates here. I'm just gonna give it a little wipe down with a rag that has a little brake cleaner or carb cleaner on it. Now we got our gasket. We're gonna put a thin film of RTV blue on it, on the gasket. Pop it on that thermostat housing. And tighten down the bolts. Put that thermostat housing together now before the water pump. We got our new thermostat housing back on. Well, our new thermostat and gasket in. That lower bolt was a little tricky. So put the thermostat in the housing the way it goes. And then the gasket got a little blue RTV. And easily, carefully line it up. Start the top bolt with an extender. Got her started, and then started the bottom bolt. And if you use this extender with a 12 point, 13 or half, you should be able to point it down on this, and it kind of grips the edge of this little bolt, and you'll get it almost all the way in if your threads are nice and clean. Then you can put that ratcheting wrench or regular wrench in from here and get the final torque on it. Clean that up with a little brake cleaner and a rag where the water pump's mating. Here's my water pump. I got all the bolts in there. There's a tractor going by. We got the blue RTV where the water outlets are. And I'm gonna try to carefully slide that in there without losing any bolts and start the bolts. I got the bolts through there so the gasket doesn't slip. We got our water pump on there. Went on pretty smoothly, no trouble. Fished it in there, gasket didn't slide at all. You know, just be careful you don't tilt it so the bolts fall out. Put our heater hoses back on, that went easy. Lower radiator hose back on. There she is, all done. Now we gotta put the pulley on and the clutch fan and the radiator shroud. Fill it with some coolant over here. Fill it up in the radiator, run it. Might pressure test it for leaks. There we go. You know, gotta get that bracket on too. Let's not forget about that bracket. Hope this helps. If you liked the video, drop me a sub. It means a lot to me. Thanks.